маленький газель, а вот там большой.
Я бы его послала.
Президент?
Его, да.
Нет, а вы...
При той ситуации, которой уже нечего делать, уже нечего. Понимаете?
А вот если бы вы стали президентом, что бы вы сделали? Как бы вы изменили ситуацию?
Я не знаю, как я изменила. Я вообще даже сейчас уже трудно о чем-то говорить. Трудно, когда все уже на нулях. Мне 82. Вот столько я уже пережила. Ту войну пережила. Я знаю, как я была голодной. И сейчас такая же голодная. Тогда ничего не было, но мы друг друга кормили, помогали, угощали. Сейчас там полно лежит, а мы все голодные. Очень тяжело. Сейчас, в данный момент, очень. Видимо, вот эти 20 лет, которые прошли, мы их упустили. Мы сейчас нагоняем. Вот у меня этот приемник экономический, этот самый, машины какие-то там сейчас начинают крутить, там только вылезли. Я эту пену для волос покупала всегда в магазине. Сейчас пошла купить. Да, я заплатила. Но тетенька, эта продавщица говорит, ну это, говорит, наша теперь пошла, посмотрите. И что? Я выбросила эти деньги, потому что я намазалась, а оно не закрутилось ничего. И вот сейчас все так будет.
Если вот у нас, у молодых, будущее хотя бы какое-то вот во всей
Вы
этой...
не бойтесь, потому что вы боитесь. Вы всего боитесь. Вы боитесь сказать. Вы боитесь этого самого, в прием в этом посмотреть. Вы боитесь. Когда боишься, то сам по себе страх перебарывает все. Не бойтесь. Если будете бояться, ничего не будет.
So that's nuts, especially that old woman saying F Putin. I mean, there's a real problem in Russia if that's the case. Now, before I get into the data on Russian inflation, I want to give you some info on median income between some Western nations and Russia for comparative purposes, because it's not an apples to apples comparison here. Now, per the World Bank, Russia's 2023 median income is $9,563. Now, obviously, they are paid in rubles, but that's the equivalent in dollars. The US median income is $24,324. Canada is $20,550. The United Kingdom is $16,907. Now, per the World Bank, any country higher than $13,846 is considered high income, and it's a 4-step scale. Russia is considered upper middle income, so they're one below the US, UK, Canada. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is so you don't look at the prices in Russia that I'm about to get you from our US income level and go, hey, that's not too bad. Look at it as if you were living in Russia where the median income is $9,563, which means it's less than half of what the US is making. Now, when you look at that, you can kind of extrapolate the fact that that would mean all the Americans would be making probably less than half of what they're making right now. And this is what they would be facing if they were in Russia. So the Russian media is reporting a steady increase in prices across a range of goods and services in Russia. And we've seen this inflation over the past few years. Now, when it comes to food, fast food producers are warning that there's price hikes of 10 to 15% across the board. This is for pizza, burger, whatever. And you see a shawarma that has gone to $2.36, the equivalent of $2.36. Now, they used to be around $1.75. And again, don't say, well, that's not that big a deal. Look at it from a Russian perspective, where they're making only about $500 to $700 a month at this point. Phone prices have risen by 32%, and they're expected to continue to rise by an additional 20%. And this is all phones. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they have to get their iPhones off the black market. And this includes also Samsung. But Xiaomi phones and other Chinese products too are mirroring these increases because the demand is there. I mean, if you can't get an iPhone, you have to default to a Chinese phone. When it comes to gas prices, gas in Russia, which is quite surprising because they make their own gas. They are basically a large gas station country, but prices have gone up 60 to 70% since the beginning of the year, and diesel fuel prices have gone up by 40%. And a lot of this is what's driving some of the prices up because transportation costs have gone up, and it's caused a lot of concerns as there was previously an inflation rule in Russia where they would limit oil companies from raising prices above the official inflation rate, which have clearly been breached this year. I mean, we're seeing 60 to 70% increases. So that inflation rule has been thrown out of the window essentially in Russia. Car prices continue to climb, where prices for a car have increased by $600 to $700 in August alone. It's a $600 to $700 increase when you're only making like $9,000 to $10,000. That's significant. And in some cases, they're reaching $6,800 higher. And this is for their janky garbage cars. And this isn't ending. The experts are expecting price increases across all market segments in the fall. And then finally, in real estate, you're seeing massive increases where the secondary market and rent market saw 1.5 to 2% increases in August alone for the cost of housing. That's a massive increase. So things are just not in a good place in Russia economically. You see it in the grocery lines. You see the videos where people are having to queue up or wait in line for eggs. There's videos that I couldn't show because I didn't know if they would be banned or not, of people fighting in grocery stores over basic items such as bread and eggs. And you can go to Twitter and find them. You can see these videos. They're all over the place. It's just not a good situation currently in Russia. And that elderly woman that spoke, she pretty much lays it out there and says what she's feeling with regard to how the current administration in the Kremlin is handling this situation and who she believes is at fault.